How about this? It's being called a miracle. Let's watch.
The FBI says that he snuck onto Hawaiian Airlines flight number 45 and stowed away in the wheel well. Of course, this is extremely dangerous. He was able to survive that trip halfway across the Pacific Ocean despite freezing conditions and being 38,000 feet up in the air. Remember, that high up, there's no oxygen.
Yes, that's why they're calling it a miracle. 16-year-old, Robin said it, hops a fence, San Jose's airport, hides in a wheel well, hops a Hawaiian Airlines plane, yes, to Hawaii, and we got it out there. And check this out. We're talking 38,000 feet up in a wheel well. Yeah, it can be 30 below, so very little oxygen, yet this kid survives. Here's the experts weighing in.
The odds of the person surviving that long of a flight at that altitude are very remote, actually. I mean, you're talking about altitudes that are well above the altitude of Mount Everest, and temperatures that can reach 40 degrees below zero. A lot of people would only have useful consciousness for a minute or two up at that altitude. For somebody to survive multiple hours with that lack of oxygen and that cold is just miraculous. I mean, it really, I've never heard of anything like that before.
And that's our first question. How do you survive this? And let's get right to it with emergency room physician Dr. Lee Vanoker. Lee, from what we gather, the kid passes out. He loses consciousness right into the flight and doesn't wake up or come out of it until an hour after the flight. So how do you survive that?
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. But if anything, it's maybe somewhat akin. First of all, he's a kid. And they have, fairly strong cardio systems. And it's almost similar to when little kids, usually they are younger, fall into the ice and are completely submerged and hypothermic, sometimes for hours. I've never heard it for 5 hours. But certainly the hypothermia probably was somewhat protective of the hypoxic insult. So once the oxygen got so low and he passed out, the hypothermia probably helped protect the brain, just the way when kids are submerged for over an hour in the water, not breathing, and come up essentially, no heartbeat, whatever, it sort of protects the brain. But it's certainly a miracle.
So
I think it's some... Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, so from my understanding and our viewers' understanding, so the body kind of goes into a hibernation?
Well, not even so much hibernation. Yeah, I mean, the metabolism is completely slowed down to the point where, maybe he even did, his heart rate was so low. I mean, I have seen people, too, that, are in good shape, their hearts are good, and they suffer a heart attack and their heart is stopped for a long time, even though someone's trying to resuscitate them, and they come back with completely normal neurologic exam, and we do in the ER put people into hypothermia when they have an arrest to try and protect the brain, because that's the key. But I think down the road he may need some extensive neuropsychiatric testing to truly say that there hasn't been absolutely, any damage at all.
Yeah, that's a long time with little oxygen. Here, Mike, let me read a tweet. Mike Brooks was the Sweller, HLN law enforcement analyst on a security front.
Yeah.
Here's the tweet from Representative Eric Stallwell. He's a Democrat, represents the San Francisco area. Here's the quote. I have long been concerned about security at our airport perimeters. Hashtag stowaway teen demonstrates vulnerabilities that need to be addressed. And that hashtag, by the way, is blowing up. How is this kid not seen? Hops a fence. There's video of him crawling into the wheel well. How's anybody not see this?
See, that's the question, and that they're looking into right now, especially the FBI and TSA, because there's no way that this kid should have gotten onto the tarmac over the fence. Was there kind of an alarm that even when you touch the fence? Why didn't somebody actually actively monitor these cameras? These are all questions that I want answered, because I haven't worked in terrorism for all those years, Mike. That kid got on a plane. That means somebody else could also put something inside that plane, inside that wheel well. That's what scares the hell out of me.
And real quick, so we're getting this video after the fact. Isn't somebody monitoring these cameras as it's happening?
You know, most of them are monitored. Most, you know, so, but in this particular airport, you know, you worry about small airports like this, like San Jose. Now, I'm not so concerned about some of the larger airports, you know, Atlanta Hartsfield, LAX, JFK. It's the smaller ones like this that concern me the most.
Okay. Mike, thank you. Lee Vanoker, thank you as well. It's a fascinating story of this kid, but thankfully survived and okay. We'll see if there's any long-term effects.